like the game moving fast. People call me Thunder.
$4 million.
I think I play better than he does. I love poker.
The game that takes a minute to learn and a lifetime to master.
No one told these guys it takes a lifetime to master. The young guns of poker battle it out tonight on the World Poker Tour.
The World Poker Tour is a series of international poker tournaments featuring the biggest games, the greatest players, and the largest payouts on the planet. 6 of the hottest young professionals under 25 shoot it out to prove who's the best. Tonight on the World Poker Tour.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Las Vegas. I'm Mike Sexton along with Vince Van Patten. You're watching the show that launched a sport, the World Poker Tour.
That's right, Mike. We are back at Bellagio, and today we are going to see some of the hottest players in the game. This is the young guns of poker. It's very exciting. Don't do that again. Under 25 years old, every player. They all play poker professionally, and believe me, they all want to take this title real bad.
Oh, you're right about that, Vince.
So let's meet the players. In seat number 1 from Dallas, Texas, we have 24-year-old David Williams. Now, David was second at Brigada, and this young man has won over $4 million this year alone playing tournament poker.
In seat 2, we have 24-year-old Thomas Thunder Keller from Scottsdale, Arizona. He's won a bracelet at the World Series, and now he makes his living playing poker.
Now, seat number 3, Sheriff Joe Cassidy. He's 24 years old. He's a former pre-law major who finally came around to his senses, and he plays poker full-time at the card clubs in L.A.
In seat 4 is 24-year-old Scott Fishman from Las Vegas. Scott made a name for himself by winning 2 bracelets at the World Series. This guy lives, breathes, eats, sleeps poker 24 hours a day.
Why not? Over to seat 5 from Sandy, Utah, Pete Lawson, also 24 years old. Now, he plays 3rd in the WPT Legends of Poker tournament. He's the real thing.
In seat 6 is the youngest young gun at the table. He's 22-year-old John D'Agostino out of Seymour, Connecticut. John pocketed $100,000 at the WPT Caribbean Adventure, and he's hoping youth will prevail tonight.
Well, those are the players. Let's get this party started.
Dealer, shuffle up and deal.
All right, here we go. The young guns of poker are about to get underway.
Let's talk about the structure. Each player tonight will start with $250,000.
The antes will be $1,000. Blinds will start out at $3,000 and $6,000.
By the way, tonight we're going to do something a little different on the Young Guns of Poker. We're going to have a showdown card. That means each player gets to lift up the card and one time tonight can look at an uncalled hand. So here we go. It's going to be on John D'Agostino first. Looks down at an ace-7 offsuit.
I want a race.
Not going to play it. David Williams quickly going out.
Now around to Thomas Thunder Keller.
He already had it ready.
And with King 10, he's going to bump this up.
Yep, it comes in for $18,000.
Joe Cassidy throws away Queen Jack.
And he used the 1,000s to make it look more intimidating.
Around to Scott Fishman.
Scott's got 7-5. Throws it away.
What do you got in there?
Use your showdown thing.
No, I don't care what you have in your hand.
Oh, it was 18.
Now around to Pete Lawson. Now he looks down at ace-9 in the big blind here.
Kind of a fighting hand. Got some money in there already.
Well, he's going to call him.
Told you. Me and you this hand.
So action on the first hand. Here's our flop.
Well, flop comes Queen 10 deuce with 2 hearts. Pete checks.
And Thomas Keller's got a piece of that. He's got 10s, but he's going to play it slow. He's checked it. Turn card coming up.
4 clubs comes off. Action's on Pete.
Did not help him. But let's see if he'll continue the charade. Yes, he does.
Yeah, he's going to lead out and bet. He bets $15,000. Thomas Keller was just staring Pete down there as he was making that play. And he's going to call him with the 2 10s.
We know he's out in front. River card coming up.
Well, the 8 of hearts comes off, making a potential flush and a potential straight out there.
And that doesn't help Pete Lawson. He's already involved. He's got this guy calling behind him.
He only has ace high, remember.
I'd just like to arm wrestle this guy. I think we'd lose that one, Mike.
He's quite an athlete, Vince. At the University of Mississippi on a tennis scholarship.
32.
He's going to bet it.
Yes, he is. He bets 32,000.
Continues the larceny.
Thomas Keller faced with a tough decision now. Now he's an economics major from Stanford, a very smart guy. Is he smart enough to figure this out? He's trying to put the piece of the puzzle together. The guy checked on the flop, then he bet on the turn, and now he's betting again on the river. What's going through Thomas's mind is, if he had a flush draw, would he have really checked on the flop? If he'd had queens, would he checked?
All right.
He's done it, Vince. He's made the call. A great read by Thomas Thunder Keller there. And you have to say that was a thunderous call by him, and he's going to take down pot number one.
Very solid from the man from Arizona, only 24 years old.
How can you ever bluff one of these guys? It's impossible. This is a no bluff game right here, boys.
The winner of this event will get the guaranteed $25,000 seat at our WPT Championship at Bellagio at the end of the season.
Well, you're right, Vince, but what they're really playing for here is to see who is the best of the young guns. A lot of pride and prestige on the line here tonight for these guys.
So here we go again. It's going to be on Thomas Keller. Throws away a 6-deuce.
I've got
Joe
chips.
Cassidy looks down at ace-jack. Now, Joe will be the only guy that probably doesn't laugh all night long at the table. Very intense player. Raises it, comes in for 18,000.
Now, Scott Fishman right behind him has ace-9 of spades. Very respectable.
I remember Pete just made a call of a raise with ace-9 and got himself in trouble. Let's see if Scott will do it. Nope. Scott lays his hand down.
Pete Lawson, John D'Agostino quickly going out. Now it's around to David Williams.
He's got the 3-4 diamonds, and he's going to call the raise with it, Vince.
Well, he's got a tempting little suited connector. Let's see if he gets lucky with it.
Flop comes king 5 deuce, so David flopped an open end straight draw, and he checks.
Right now, the Cassidy kid just ace high.
Yep, but he's going to fire into the pot. Bets 22,000. See how David's going to play his open end straight draw. He's going to call it. You can be sure Joe didn't like that call either. So here we go, off to the turn. Well, an 8 comes on the turn.
David did not hit, and he checks it.
And Joe checks right behind him.
David Williams getting a free shot at this.
So off to the river we go. 9 of diamonds on the river.
David Williams did not hit, but look at this.
Well, the only way he can win the pot is to bet at it, and that's what he's doing. He bets 35,000.
And he's going to get Cassidy to lay down his hand.
Yep, Joe with only ace high lays it down.
You want to see it?
Deuce.
Sure.
He shows it too, Mike.
Yeah, he shows the bluff. And folks, you get a glimpse of why this guy won $4 million last year, because he's got heart to bet when he doesn't have a hand.
At that time, he rubs it into Joe Cassidy a little bit.
I'm sick.
NBZ.
No, I'm steaming.
He's not calling with ace high.
So a beautiful little hold up by David Williams, taking that pot. But that's the beauty of the World Poker Tour. We are playing no limit Texas Hold'em. You can bet anything you want at any time. It is a true bluffer's game.
Well, you're right about that, Vince. You don't have to have cards to win, but you do have to fire shells at the pot. David Williams did it there.
Once again, for the people out there that don't know, we're playing no limit Texas Hold'em, 2 cards in your hand, 5 in the middle to make your best 5-card poker hand.
Action on Scott Fishman. He's going to fold a 10-4.
Pete Lawson quickly going out. Now it's on John D'Agostino. He's got a 5-4.
And he's raising it with it, Vince. Makes it 18,000 to go.
He's going to go up with a junk hand.
I was going to raise without looking.
Now right behind him, David Williams with 99, the Wayne Gretzky hand.
18.
Picks up a nice hand, but he's just going to call. Doesn't re-raise with the 2 9s.
Thomas Keller going out.
Joe Cassidy in the big blind has 7-5 offsuit.
Come on in, Joe. The water's fine.
And he's going to call. So 3-way action here, Vince.
Let's see who gets lucky.
Well, flop is king, queen, 10 of clubs. Joe quickly checks.
Not one club between these guys either.
They love big
D'Agostino
flops.
checks. And David Williams checks his 2 9. So here we go to the turn. Well, the deuce of clubs comes off.
I can't win this hand.
Joe Cassidy checks. D'Agostino checks. And David Williams quickly checks.
I can't win this hand.
David Williams says, I can't win this hand. Little does he know he has the best hand with 2 9s.
Well, you talk about a pot to rob.
Well, the ace of diamonds comes on the river. And look at this. Joe Cassidy with 7-5 offsuit is betting, Vince.
There you go.
30,000 he bets.
Here's our thief.
Can't win this hand.
D'Agostino folds. David Williams throws it away.
You could have called. I mean, that would win.
Joe says you'd have won if you'd have called. He shows him the 7-5 offsuit. So another bluff at the river by one of the young guns to pick up the pot.
Well, but Joe Cassidy is saying, hey, there's a nice little pot. These guys are so timid. If I blow on this pot, I'll take it. He does exactly that, and he takes it.
This is going to be really down against the
WPT's Young Guns of Poker are locked and loaded, so stay tuned.
Playing against Daniel at the Borgata World Poker Tour event was actually a dream come true.
You're all in?
Yeah. Play against my favorite player and try and beat him. I knew it was going to be tough.
I call.
And in the end, it didn't work out.
It's a queen. Daniel Negreanu is our champion.
David Williams is going to pick up 573. What an event.
Probably have never been happier losing in my life.
Welcome back to a World Poker Tour exclusive, the Young Guns of Poker.
We travel the world all year long, showcasing the very best poker players in the world. But tonight, we got the young hotshots here.
And Vince, I just can't get over the fact that they were all born 1980 and beyond. You know, I've got ties older than that.
Yes, we've seen them. Blinds are going up to 5 and 10,000. Action back on Thomas Keller. Dumps an 8 deuce.
Joe Cassidy. He peeks down at the 4-3 of spade.
Suited connector. Does not want to get involved, though. Now it's on Scott Fishman. He's got an 86 of diamonds.
He's going to lay it down.
Now Pete Lawson with the button in front of him, the best position in poker because you get to act last, has a jack 4 clubs.
Well, he's going to raise with it, Vince.
D'Agostino dog going out with 85.
Now, David Williams with only the queen deuce of hearts. Going to call a raise with this hand, Vince. This guy's a defender of the blinds, I can tell you that. He doesn't like to give up his money.
Well, he's got some imagination.
He does call it.
That was a lot of Hollywood, Dave.
Look at him. He's all Hollywood.
No kidding.
Come on.
Saw him call a raise with a 3-4. Now we see him call a raise with a queen deuce. And flop is king 9 with 2 clubs.
David Williams checks. Now Pete Lawson has 4 to the flush.
And he's going to bet the flush draw, Vince. He bets 52,000.
I can't bluff you. You only got like 30,000 left.
I might be committed.
Davidson, I can't bluff you. Throws away his hand.
So there you have it. Even though Pete's on a short stack, bold, aggressive play wins him that pot.
He's a jock. He works out every day. He loves poker, plays for some big stake games.
Well, he said if he wasn't going to be a poker player, he was going to be a professional snowboarder. So this guy's an all-around athlete.
Right now, Pete Lawson, a happy guy.
Well, Vince, you know, I was just thinking, back when these guys were born, you were probably just discovering disco. You know, you probably had long hair and wore an open-collared shirt. You know, not much has changed with you over the years, I see.
You're right. I had my boogie nights, that's for sure. But it's coming back. Well, back into the action. Down to John D'Agostino. This time he's got 5-3 of spades.
And he's going to raise it. Vince makes it 30,000 to go with a 5 high.
He's going to get creative. David quickly going out. Now into Thomas Keller. He dumps a 9-7.
Here's Joe Cassidy. Looks down at 8-6 of hearts. Joe, certainly the most serious player at the table. He always has his game face on when he's playing poker.
Yes, he does. He's going to get stubborn, it looks like.
Well, he's going to call the raise out of the big blind. So here we go. Joe with 8-6 of hearts. D'Agostino with 5-3 of spades.
Here's the flop.
The flop comes 10-9-4 of spade. D'Agostino has flopped a flush here.
Just incredible. Rave songs going off in his head right now.
Joe is checked.
They're making fun of him for being so serious. Look at you.
And D'Agostino is going to bet the flush. He's not going to slow play it. Bets 35,000. Look at Dag staring him down there.
Well, what a time to bet it. He raised before the flop. It doesn't look like he flopped the flush necessarily. He wants Joe to bite here.
What is Joe contemplating here? Making a move on him? This would be bad timing to do so. Wisely for Joe, he lays his hand down.
Nice instincts to get away from that.
Oh, D'Agostino was so hoping he'd come over the top of him there.
Aren't you guys ever going to use your showdown cards? Come on. Should I do it? All right.
Well, Joe Cassidy, he's going to throw him the showdown card.
Oh, yeah.
Well, D'Agostino reluctantly shows him the flush that he made on the flop.
Oh, and look at Joe Cassidy. He is happy. He's saying, I'm glad I didn't bite with a re-raise.
Well, what this shows everybody else, Vince, when he turns up a 5-3 like that, he raised before the flop. These guys now know he can raise with any two cards.
How do you flop the nuts all the time?
Which young gun is next to fire? Find out when the World Poker Tour continues right after this.
I'm always at a hotel for a poker tournament. This season for the World Poker Tour, I played at the Mirage, Foxwoods, Commerce, Atlantis, Bay 101, Reno, Bike, and the main event at Bellagio. Did I miss any?
I love playing the piano, but it doesn't bring home the bacon. You know, poker is where it's at, definitely.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. We're at Bellagio in Las Vegas for the Young Guns of Poker.
That is right, and you just saw John D'Agostino, 22 years old, the youngest player at the table, just take that last pot. And his only real job before this was when he worked at a donut shop. In fact, in the poker world, they nicknamed him Sprinkles.
Oh, it's not, Vince.
I'm just kidding around.
It's J-Dog.
You're right. Got carried away. All right, first to act is going to be J-Dog. Throws away a 10-5.
David Williams with 6-3. A spade limps in. He calls the big blind.
Thomas Keller quickly going out with Queen-9. Now into Joe Cassidy with the button and a 9-4 in his hand.
He is going to race it. He makes it $40,000 to go with 9-4 offsuit.
Right behind him, Scott Fishman has Big Slick.
Yes, he does.
All right.
And he says raise, Vince. So Joe Cassidy getting his wrist slapped here.
Oh, boy.
$160,000 by Scott Fishman.
I was joking when I said come and get it.
Pete Lawson folding his hand.
Yes, I won't.
David Williams folds.
Joking too.
And Joe Cassidy folds as well.
Okay, the imposter goes away, so that pot's going to be taken by Scott Fishman.
Yep, the tournament specialist going to take it down with a nice re-raise with ace-king.
Now, when it comes to the game of poker, these players have one thing on their side that the old veterans, no offense, don't have, and that is the advantage of youth.
Oh, you're right about that, Vince. And it can be grueling to make it to a WPT final table. It takes endurance to make it to the top of these 4- and 5-day events. And our own Shauna Hyatt took a look at the importance of having stamina in this week's Poker Corner.
Endurance in any sport is an important element to success, and tournament poker is no exception.
It's like running a marathon.
We have tournaments that last 4 or 5 days at a time, and you're playing 12 to 14 hours a day. So clearly, endurance is a key factor.
A lot of the times, it hurts just sitting in a chair. You wiggle around, you know, you get to stand up and stretch, and you get tired.
A lot of it's more mental than physical, but still your body has to hold up.
While these young guns may have a physical advantage over their elder opponents, don't write the old guys out.
I think something that the older players have an edge on is the mental endurance, though. There needs to be kind of like a pacing of your emotions. If you're just totally involved and get really excited or disappointed, that's just going to wear you down mentally.
For me, it's never been a problem because it takes me 4 hours even to get into the damn game. So the longer we play, the better I play.
You have to be able to concentrate for long periods of time. I'll get into an uncomfortable position, and I'll just make myself stay in that uncomfortable position just to remind myself to stay disciplined.
So while strong physical endurance can help you get through the grueling schedule of a poker tournament, it's the player who can mentally maintain that will take home the millions.
Well, we see the importance of endurance and stamina out here on the World Poker Tour.
Action back on Thomas Keller, and he throws away an 8-6. Joe Cassidy dumps a 7 deuce offsuit.
Around the Scott Fishman. But the 5-4 of spades is going to raise it, makes it 25,000 to go.
Now it's into Pete Lawson.
On the button, Pete Lawson on the short stack has picked up 2 10s. And he's moving all in with him, Vince. I don't blame him for this.
John D'Agostino with ace-3 quickly folds.
David Williams folds.
Yeah, that's...
And back into Scott Fishman.
Well, he's bluffing like he's going to call this bet, but with 5 high, hard to call an all-in bet of over 100,000 more. And he is going to lay it down.
So I don't think you can call a raise.
4. That wasn't a
So the
4.
short stack very relieved to take that pot with his pair of 10s.
Yep.
He saw that.
The guy who won 300,000 when he finished third to Doyle Brunson in the WPT's Legend of Poker.
I think it's about time to kick it up a notch and gamble. 3, 5.
So these guys are proving why they are the dream team of the young breed here.
I'm the only one that's had to say, nice hand, I have nothing.
Very jolly at the table on Scott Fishman. Throws away an 8-deuce. Pete quickly going out.
He folds, I'll raise without looking.
Round to John D'Agostino with a 7-6.
You know that's tempting. You know that's tempting.
Acts like he's going to bet, throws his cards away.
No look.
David saying, I'm going to raise blind.
He does it. He bets 20,000 without looking at his cards.
Thomas Keller quickly going out. Now it's on Joe Cassidy.
Honest to God, have not looked. Are you serious? All right, I call. I haven't looked either.
Joe said, you didn't look, I'll call you.
We don't know what his cards are.
We got to loosen this table up a little bit.
I know what they got.
Two-way action.
Well, flop is 4-3-3.
Now he's going to look.
Joe Cassidy finally looks down at his hand. He's got ace-5.
So Joe Cassidy has flopped a gut shot straight draw, a wheel draw, as we say. He bets 22,000. Oh, and look, David Williams looks down and finds 3 threes. He's got queen 3 of spade.
Just incredible.
He raised in the dark. He's found 3 of a kind, and he's going to pop it up.
You looked, didn't you?
I just look now.
Well, he's looked now, Joe. Is Joe going to believe him, though? That's the question.
What a time to hit the 3 of a kind when you're in the blind. You're trash talking, you're table talking. Now Joe's got to figure out this quagmire.
Well, he was selling the fact that he didn't look before the flop, meaning he can have any cards. So now he's going to raise it. Is Joe going to go for it?
All in.
Oh, he's going to raise it all in.
He is. He's going to
Well, David Williams quickly calls him, obviously, with the 3 threes. And Joe Cassidy has stubbed his toe here.
Wow.
Oh, this is sick. I mean, he is on the brink of extinction right now.
I wish I had deuce tray.
The Cassidy kid tripping up here.
Do you think I looked before they flop?
What beautiful fortune for David Williams out in front with 3 of a kind.
Queen of clubs.
Yep.
Yeah, make it interesting.
And Joe Cassidy, who has fewer chips than David Williams, would be eliminated and be our 6th place finisher. Now, he can get very lucky and catch a deuce, make the straight to take the lead in this pot. But right now, Joe Cassidy is caught between a dog and a lamppost here, Vince.
It's going to come 4-4. Joe did say he was a big favorite.
Here comes the turn card.
Oh, it's a deuce.
Oh.
He has done it.
Oh, he hit the inside straight draw.
Well, you can feel David Williams' heart hit the floor right there.
I knew
This is
a big favorite.
This is the torture. This is the torture, though. Here comes the deuce 4.
Hey, I got my money in good.
It's not over, though. If the board pairs or a queen comes up, David Williams will make a full house and win this pot.
River card coming up.
Well, it's a jack.
I think you have me.
So Joe Cassidy hitting lightning on the turn right there.
Nice hand, Joe.
You're welcome.
And with that hit for David Williams, he is going to be on the morphine drip.
160.
Big pot splashing here at Bellagio. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more on the World Poker Tour.
When I played in the Legends, that was my first main event on the WPT.
He gets it!
If I can do well there against all the best players in the world, I know I can keep going strong for a while.
I'm pretty frugal with my money, or as my girlfriend says, cheap. I mean, I don't have time to spend the money. I'm playing poker all the time.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour. And right now, David Williams, the $4 million man, down to the felt after losing to that gut shot straight draw of Joe Cassidy.
Remove all sharp objects from David Williams' body. He is in very grave condition now.
He's really a terrific young man. Started out in college at Princeton, transferred back to his hometown of Dallas, went to SMU.
Well, back to the action. Pete Lawson quickly folding.
For the record, if you move in, I'm calling.
Now it's on John D'Agostino.
Well, John looks down at King Jack of Hearts, Kojak, as we say.
Nice starting hand.
And he's going to raise it, makes it 30,000 to go.
Going to David Williams, but look at this. He picks up a pair of ladies.
Yep. Happy to get it all in with this hand, I can tell you that.
Thomas Keller quickly going out. Now it's around to Joe Cassidy.
Joe's got nothing. He folds. Scott Fishman with 9-8 of diamonds. He's going to call.
This could be the greatest comeback ever.
Now that means there's going to be $10,000 side pot. Scott and D'Agostino can continue betting on the side. David Williams all in for the main pot.
Yeah, he's getting 2-1 on his money. Let's see if his queens hold up.
Now flop is 8-4-3.
So far he's out in front.
Well, Scott has flopped top pair here, the 2-8s, and he bets 45,000.
Well, obviously, I can't call with this hand.
Well, D'Agostino folds the King Jack.
And so it's a showdown between David Williams and Scott Fishman.
Well, they turn up their cards.
The king comes off, I'm going to be really mad.
David Williams having a little hope here. His queens against the 8s with 2 cards to come.
Queen.
I don't want to see David go.
Queen diamonds.
There's a lot of love at this table.
I wanted to keep David in the game.
Here comes a turn card.
God.
Well, a diamond comes on the turn, meaning Scott Fishman could backdoor a flush. If he catches a diamond, an 8 or a 9, he will win this pot. Otherwise, David Williams is going to triple up.
Can he hang around? David Williams, second in the World Series. $4 million man this year. Hanging in there. Here's our river.
Well, river card is a 7.
Back in this, baby.
David Williams has done it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Listen,
David Williams more than triples up here. The 2 queens stand up for him. He is back in the hunt.
So the $4 million man, David Williams, coming back nicely there.
Yep, he wasn't quite down to a chip in a chair, but pretty close to it.
Right back on David Williams, 9-7.
He folds.
Thomas Keller, who's got very quiet all of a sudden, he throws his hand away again.
Joe Cassidy looks down at a pair of 6s here.
Legitimate hand, wired pair of 6s.
And he's going to bet 30,000 with him.
Yeah, but this is going to happen.
Fishman with 10-8 offsuit folds.
Pete Lawson quickly going out. Now it's around to D'Agostino. In the big blind has an ace-jack, very respectable.
Pretty good hand. Question is, how do you want to play it? Well, D'Agostino's going to call.
He's going to go the subtle way. So we have two-way action. The Cassidy kid versus John D'Agostino. Here's our flop.
And flop comes 10-10-8.
And it's going to be on D'Agostino first.
And he checks. Joe Cassidy, who raised before the flop, is reaching for chips, and he's going to bet. He bets 30,000. Now, what do you do if you're D'Agostino here? You've got ace-jack. I think you can only call this bet if you think the ace-jack is the best hand right now.
Oh, boy, he's going to call this.
So here we go to the turn. Off comes a 5.
Doesn't help D'Agostino.
Well, D'Agostino checks.
Gives him the red carpet.
Now, Joe's problem is he's thinking, did this guy just call me with 3 10s? Is he trapping me here? So Joe checks.
He does slow down. He believes D'Agostino might be slow playing him.
So off we go to the river. Well, a 9 comes off.
Well, kind of an action card as well.
And now action is on D'Agostino.
Whose hand did not materialize.
The way he can win this pot is to bet, and you just wonder if he'll bet with ace high. Could he put his opponent on ace king or ace queen or a small pair? Would a bet take this pot away from him?
Oh, boy.
He's going to do it, Vince. He's bet 50,000 here with just the ace high.
He has pulled the ripcord. He's going to attempt this bluff.
Well, I can tell you, if you're sitting in Joe Cassidy's seat right now, you're scratching your head and you're saying, what can I beat here? If the guy had 9 jack, he's got me beat. If he had queen 9, I was beat. If he had jack queen, he made a straight. Even if he had 6-7, he made a straight. Did he trap me with 3 10s? I mean, literally, if you're sitting in Joe's seat, I think this is just such a tough call to make.
Well, the door was open beyond 4th Street. Joe slowing down when a 5 hit. That has given John D'Agostino the opportunity to make a bet and maybe be successful with it.
Well, there's 180,000 out in the pot, but still. The man calls 50,000 here, folks. Just stand up and salute him.
Oh, he's going to throw it down.
Should have bet the turn.
Well, Joe says I should have bet the turn, and he's right about that. He would have won the pot instead of lost it. But you have to give D'Agostino credit there, Vince, for betting at the river there with ace high. He took the pot right away from Joe Cassidy. Vince, you can just feel the intensity increasing consistently now. The game face is now starting to come on all these players. They were laughing and giggling early, but you can see what's happening now. Seriousness is setting in. Each of these guys with a tremendous amount of pride. They really, really want to capture this title.
They are great players, and the antes and blinds have gone up. $2,000 ante and an $8,000 and $16,000 blinds right now.
That means it's 36,000 around to play right now.
Action's going to be on Scott. He throws his hand away.
Down to Pete Lawson.
He quickly goes out with ace-4. Now around to D'Agostino with a jack-7. Not interested. Around to Williams with jack-10 in his hand.
He is on the short stack here. There's about 80,000 left is all, and opts to call on the blind with the jack-10.
Well, Thomas Keller, 7-5. Not going to play.
Joe Cassidy has king-8. He saw his opponent limp in here, and he says, okay, let's have a flop.
Jack-10 versus king-8. David Williams on the ropes. Here's the flop.
I think we're all making a good decision.
Well, flop comes 9-7 deuce. Joe checks, and David checks the gut shot straight draw.
Here comes the turn.
4 diamonds comes on the turn.
Helps neither player, but here comes Joe.
Joe's making a nice bet right here. He bet 16,000.
The Cassidy kid going to put the squeeze on David Williams right now.
David doesn't have that many chips left, only about 60,000. He's got a gut shot straight draw. Look at this. Going all in with it, Vince. Just an amazing all-in bet here by David Williams, in my opinion.
Nice read.
Now, Joe has the best hand with king high, but hard to know it when your opponent moves in on you, and Joe folds his hand. But a pretty incredible re-raise, in my opinion, by David Williams to pick up that pot.
Very impressive on the short stack to be able to make that move and be successful with it.
Well, you can see the look on Joe Cassidy's face. Just things don't seem to be going too well for him.
Meantime, David Williams is still staying alive. He hangs in there.
These young guns are primed for victory. See who comes out on top when the World Poker Tour continues right after this.
David Williams, man, does David Williams want to learn. It's unbelievable that this kid's had so much success, yet he still feels like he knows nothing. And an attitude like that is the best attitude you can have as a young kid.
Welcome back to WPT's Young Guns of Poker. I'm Shauna Hyatt, and here's a recap of the action so far.
In Vegas, these aggressive young guns came out blazing and raising with great calls by Thomas Thunder Keller. Lucky draws for Sheriff Joe Cassidy.
Oh, it's a deuce. Oh. He has done it.
And slick plays by Jock Pete Lawson. Poker fiend Scott Fishman has played steady, while the youngest gun, John D'Agostino, has proved he's no baby. The hot action's been on poker millionaire David Williams, who was down and almost out, but now is on the comeback trail.
Back in this, baby.
Can he climb to the top, or will another young gun of poker raise to victory?
Now back to a couple of guys who are at least young at heart, Mike Sexton and Vince Van Patten.
Vince, what's interesting to me is these good young players come from all over the country. David Williams from Texas, Thomas Keller from Arizona, Joe Cassidy from Southern California, Scott Fishman from Las Vegas, Pete Lawson from Utah, and John D'Agostino from Connecticut. Good players everywhere.
Oh, they are the superstars of the young breed of poker. Action's going to be on Joe Cassidy. This time he has ace-10 offsuit.
Just under the gun in first position here. Well, he is going to bet. Makes it 36,000 to go.
Into Scott Fishman, throws away 5 deuce.
Pete folds.
Now D'Agostino with 10-8 of spades. The button in front of him.
It's one of those teasing kind of hands that you like to see a flop with. The question is, do you want to call 36,000 when you only have about $250,000? He's going to do it, though. He's opted to call. He's going to take a flop here.
Now it's on David Williams. He's got ace-5.
Now, David's problem is he's only got about 100,000 in chips. Doesn't give him much to work with after the flop.
No, he's not going to do it.
I think a good laydown by him.
Thomas Keller with 9-5 goes out as well.
That's what I've been waiting all night for.
So two-way action, ace-10 versus 10-8. Here's the flop. Oh, and look at this, an ace-8-4 on the flop.
Yep, Joe Cassidy has flopped top pair. D'Agostino has flopped middle pair.
Potential disaster for John D'Agostino.
Well, Joe leads out and bets 40,000.
Right now, D'Agostino's looking at him saying, wait a second. He really did have an ace. Would he be betting right now?
When you see the look in his eyes, Vince, you just sense what he's thinking there. Does he have an ace or doesn't he? He's going to raise it, Vince.
Very interesting.
Well, he raises it to 80,000. He makes the minimum raise possible. I'll tell you, I really like this bet in that it's a gathering information style bet. He wants to find out right now if his opponent's got an ace. He can do so by making that minimum raise.
Yeah, it's a scary raise when someone does that to you. But we know because the WPT cam, he is in second position. Joe Cassidy out there with the aces with a nice kicker, a 10 kicker. But he's got a little dilemma here.
Well, Joe's going to call him, and a nice call it is.
Oh, boy. That perked up D'Agostino. Didn't quite like that. Thought maybe get rid of this guy. Here comes the turn.
Well, turn card is a queen. This time Joe checks. Now, that's the other advantage for making a raise on the flop. You might get a free card on the turn. Well, what John's saying to himself, look, I raised this guy on the flop, and he called me when it come ace-8-4 rainbow out there. No real potential draws.
And he's going to check it.
So he must have a hand, so D'Agostino wisely checks here on the turn.
Fear with both players. River card coming up.
Well, a 6 comes off at the river. Now, because D'Agostino checked on the turn, Joe's got to be thinking his ace-10's probably good here. Joe's thinking, do I want to get a little value bet in here? And he is getting the value bet in. He's betting 45,000 into a pot that's nearly 270,000. Trying to get some value out of his 2 aces.
Oh, boy. We're a long way from the donut shop right now for John D'Agostino.
Well, you see him wincing here, Vince. His plan has gone awry here of taking this pot away from Joe. And now what's he going to do?
Oh, he is a human time bomb right now. Ready to explode.
You know, he might be the youngest player at the table, but I can tell you, he's aging fast when he's up against competition like this.
Well, John D'Agostino would have liked to have folded his hand before the flop. But right now, he is in a mess.
There you go.
Well, he's going to get the showdown card. He's going to show it out there.
Yeah, he's going to make the laydown.
So Joe Cassidy shows over the ace-10. At least John will sleep a little better tonight.
But that almost puts him down to be in the short stack. He's to about 147,000. The leader is now Joe Cassidy with about 460,000.
All right, action's going to be on Scott Fishman. Got 10-8 of hearts and folds.
Pete Lawson. Oh, look at this. He's got the weapons of mass destruction, the pair of aces.
Oh, and he's saying, finally, I got a hand here.
I'm such a donkey.
I'll tell you, this young gun has got his gun full of bullets right here. Let me just pop it up a little bit. 35,000 with the 2 aces.
John folding 7 deuce very quickly. David Williams out with 8-5.
Look at this. Thomas Thunder Keller picks up ace-jack of diamonds, staring down at his opponent and looking at his stack size. Something everyone should do when they play tournament poker. Know who can break you, who can take you out of the tournament, and who can't.
Well, he's got a very strong hand. Ace, jack of diamonds.
Little does he know he's up against two aces.
Pete, what do you got left?
190.
Well, that was music to Pete's ears. Thunder Keller asking him how much he's got left.
35.
Pete saying, please put it all in there and I'll show you to the chip how much I got left.
Just gets the call out of him. Joe Cassidy got 8-4 clubs, nothing special.
Joe Cassidy in the big blind. A lot of money in the pot right now. Nearly 100,000 out there. Going to cost him another 19,000 to call, so he does so.
Big pot developing here, Mike.
So here we go, three-way action. Pete Lawson with the two aces.
Oh, yeah. I didn't count you.
What a position Pete Lawson is in right now.
I got 92.
Here we go with the flop.
What do you have?
Well, flop comes 9-7-5 with two hearts. And Thomas checks.
That gives Joe Cassidy an inside straight draw.
Well, action is on, Joe.
Does he want to get adventurous with it?
Well, here's a case. He saw Thomas check. He's hoping Pete has two big cards. He's going to make a $45,000 bet here to try to pick up this pot right here.
Oh, look at Pete trying to look confused. And do you jam it up with a big raise? No, he's just going to call it. He's going to play it kind of slow. Crafty player. Now Thomas quickly going out with his ace-jack.